Hey, this is Purple Haze, and you're watching WGS-TV.
Hello everyone, welcome to another installment of WGS-TV right here on youtube.com/WrestleGamer and ZFXTV. I'm the WrestleGamer, Double B Billy Boudreaux, and guys and gals, this is going to be the Monday Night Raw review for the week of March 10th, 2014, and I got a couple of guys here from the panel who's going to be talking with us with the Monday Night Raw review. First off, he's our resident music mogul over on youtube.com/LanceMossTV. He is the incomparable Lance Moss. Lance, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. And, well, Raw was in my town last night.
And ladies and gentlemen, from the Hoodad Temple, he's James and the Big Easy. James, how you doing?
Are you part of the Yes movement?
I'm part of the Maybe movement.
Well, I got some thoughts on that, but I won't talk about it until we get to that particular point on Monday Night Raw. So let's go ahead and get started with Hulk Hogan's WrestleMania announcement, announcing that the 30-man over-the-top Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And I gotta say, for a fan like me who really loves Battle Royals, it's one of my favorite match types from the WWE. And it was one of the reasons why I love the Royal Rumble so much, is because of that right there, that type of match. Having this kind of memorial battle royal with a trophy to kind of, pay tribute to the memory of one of the greats of our time, the late great Andre the Giant. I think, to me, Lance, I think this is something that'll be worth watching.
Oh, yes. And it's going back old school, because in case... for those who don't remember, there used to be at least one, sometimes two battle royals at every WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah. And I even remember one year they did a gimmick battle royal.
WrestleMania 17.
Yes.
And 13. I mean, 14.
Yep. So, then, John Cena comes out, and they get interrupted by Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family once again. And like I said, here on the Raw reviews, guys, I'm not going to attempt to repeat what Bray Wyatt said, because honestly, I don't speak Bray Wyatt. But in essence, what happened in this promo is Cena threw out the open challenge, like everyone thought he was going to do, for him and Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania 30. Now, would Bray Wyatt accept? Well, he did not give his answer just yet. Instead, we get a matchup between Cena and Erick Rowan with Hulk Hogan in John Cena's corner.
Brother.
By the way, what was the brother count in that promo?
3 brothers by Hogan, 1 brother by Cena.
And 1 by Wheeler James in the call.
That'll count.
All right. Well, the matchup in itself with Cena and Rowan, I thought was okay at best. Cena countering a power slam by Erick Rowan into a schoolboy roll-up to get the victory, and it looked like we were going to have a standoff with Cena and Hogan standing off with the Wyatt family. They ended up backing down after that point in the match was over. I gotta say, I'm very interested to see. Well, you know what? I'll give my comments when we get to that point in the show. With Bray Wyatt's answer to John Cena's challenge. A lot of fans were really expecting Cena and Bray Wyatt to happen at WrestleMania. Now, will it happen? We'll tell you when we get to that part of the show. So be sure you stay tuned for that. Next up, we had the Usos, the new WWE Tag Team Champions. By the way, those gold belts really look good on them, in my personal opinion. The Usos taking on RybAxel with the New Age Outlaws on commentary. A little bit of comedy relief, in my opinion, when I heard them on commentary. But James, do you see WWE putting the titles back on the New Age Outlaws, even though they're members of the quote Breakfast Club?
No, I don't see it. I really think they're gonna give the Usos a good long reign with the title.
Yep. Well, I kind of agree with you to a point, to an extent. I wonder what the fans out there think. So if you guys are watching at this point, I want a comment question to you guys is: do you feel that WWE will ever put the titles back on the New Age Outlaws, even though they are, quote, members of the Breakfast Club? That's a question for you guys out there, so be sure you put your answers in the comment section below. Let's the matchup in itself with RybAxel and the Usos was okay. Can't really say nothing bad about it. The Usos looked in really good shape, and they kind of played on commentary to the point where they were talking about why the New Age Outlaws didn't want to get their rematches at this point in time. Saying that I think one of them was sick and the other one was hurt, if I'm not mistaken.
Road Dogg is hurt. Billy Gunn is sick.
I guess those laxatives Betty White still gave him when she was hosting are still in effect.
Well, yeah, I still say, even though it's been done to death, it's still funny. It's still funny. Like I said, there's that old saying. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And if it's funny, don't change it. And apparently, what happened with Billy Gunn was funny. It was funny. So now, when and where they would give the New Age Outlaws their title shot, I think Rick Starr was talking with us last night a little bit about that. I think he was saying something about, he doesn't want it to happen at WrestleMania between the New Age Outlaws.
Well, I could see that happening.
I see it more happening at Mania than anything.
So it should be very interesting to see where they go. And you know what it's doing, in my opinion? It's making the tag team division interesting again. I mean, for the first time that WWE put the titles on the Usos, and what's been happening ever since? We've been talking about it. So to me, in my mind, that's WWE actually accomplishing what they were supposed to be doing. So let's go up to Big E and Jack Swagger. Of course, yeah. What was more important about this between these two guys? More issues with the Real Americans. At one point in this match, Jack Swagger was hoping for Cesaro to kind of interfere. So Cesaro doesn't do it. And while Jack Swagger is questioning Cesaro, he forgets about Big E, and Big E schoolboy Swagger for the win. And again, more issues brought up to the point with the Real Americans to Sir Handlebar Mustache himself, Zeb Coulter, took off his fishing vest and got angry, and it looked like they were shaking hands until Cesaro got a really firm handshake. And Lance, let me ask you this question. How long do you think it'll be until they break up the Real Americans?
Well, honestly, now, I want y'all's opinion, you and James' opinion on this, and as well as everybody at home. Anybody else? And Joe too.
Yes.
And Joe too.
Could you guys see a possible Real American Civil War at WrestleMania?
Well, let's throw it out to the newest person here that just joined us on the review from Classic Wrestling Association, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Joseph Knight. Mr. Knight, how are you today?
Unmute your mic, Joe. Unmute your mic. When you come in, you mute it automatically. Unmute your mic.
Yeah.
See, damn technology.
Why does Sin Cara have to work on Google Hangouts?
Lance, I never seen you on video. You look like a young Stone Cold Steve Austin during his ECW stay.
I was say, I have this thing called hair. And lots of it.
No, you have to see his early work in ECW. Go ahead, Billy. I'm sorry. Regarding the Real Americans, I don't think they're going to take it that far and put it on WrestleMania. It's just that's overkill. I think what they're going to do is they're going to push it as a network, WWE network type feud to get people more motivated to switch to there. I think that's more what you're going to see happen.
Isn't it them putting the titles on the line later on in main event something they want to do for the network? And then that, I feel like this is more for a WrestleMania thing, because I feel like they gotta do something with those two, and they're gonna have the feud at Mania.
Well, to me, yeah, they would try to do that, especially for the WWE Network. I mean, look what they're doing tonight for WWE main event. I mean, they got 2 title matches. Dean Ambrose defending the United States title against Mark Henry. If they still keep the title on Dean Ambrose, I wouldn't be shocked. But Mark Henry as the United States champion, I don't know. But we also have Natalya and AJ Lee for the Divas Championship.
Hashtag that ass.
We talk. I want to talk about more about that one when it comes to the Divas tag team match.
As you are the king of the Divas, aren't you?
That's
a title
right.
that I gave to him.
Where's my guitar? Oh, wait, what? Wrong king.
You think?
I want something to break over somebody's head.
Well, up next, the fans were really expecting The Undertaker's response. You know, they're eager and anticipating what The Undertaker would have to say to what Paul Heyman said the previous week on Monday Night Raw about the streak. And before Undertaker could even get a word out, Paul Heyman comes out. And I got to say, Paul Heyman is still one of the best guys, one of the best non-in-ring talents to be on the microphone. You cannot find a guy with a better gift for the gab than Paul Heyman, other than probably Mr. Joseph Knight here, who's here with us.
Well, that and Jim Cornette. So I got to throw that in there.
Yes, yeah, I got to agree with you on to that point. But he's saying that, you know, Paul Heyman said that he kind of worshipped the streak because nobody else has done what Undertaker has accomplished at WrestleMania 21-0, and he was begging him not to take the match with Brock Lesnar because he felt that if he got into the ring with Lesnar, that Lesnar would conquer the streak, and the streak would be an afterthought. Oh, by the way, what was the Brock Lesnar count from Paul Heyman, James? You have any idea on that?
I didn't know we were doing a Brock Lesnar count. I should have counted. I know it's at least maybe 2 or 3.
Something like that.
Because I know when he did the promo last week, it was like every other word was Brock Lesnar out of Paul Heyman's mouth. But Undertaker responded with this statement saying, "The fear of the unknown is the greatest fear of all. And if Brock Lesnar shows up at WrestleMania in New Orleans, he will rest in peace." I will say this about Undertaker. He don't need to say much to get a promo over. Wouldn't you guys agree?
Nope.
Him just standing in the ring, just being the phenom, it's enough for him. But I got one question, gentlemen. Why Brock Lesnar? It just doesn't scream moneymaker to me. I think they needed someone else to step into there that could have really accomplished more with Taker to elevate to the next level. I think Lance, James, we've all spoke about this before. They need to start elevating other talent. Wouldn't it have made more sense to bring in Roman Reigns or somebody else, somebody big to take over to fight fight Taker and elevate them?
I think ever since they had the confrontation, if you guys think back to, after one of Lesnar's MMA fights, The Undertaker was actually there in the crowd. I'm sorry?
2010.
Yeah, it was back then, and while Undertaker was being interviewed after the match was over, Lesnar comes up and Undertaker makes a statement to the sorts of, "You want to go again?" And they just stared at each other, and Lesnar walked off. And I think, ever since that confrontation, fans have been wanting to see another match between Undertaker and Brock Lesnar, not necessarily at WrestleMania, but probably just another match in general between these two guys, because they had quite the storied rivalry back in 2003 over the WWE Championship. The fact that it's at WrestleMania kind of gives it an added flavor to it, in my opinion. Because you got the ambience of WrestleMania. One of the biggest stages in the WWE of the year, one of the biggest shows of the year, and with an anticipated match, I think fans wanted to see Lesnar versus Undertaker. There are a lot of people who may not agree with my sentiments about Lesnar and Undertaker, but this is just something I'm basing it off of. I don't know if you guys agree with that or not.
I agree to the point of that. I think it's like this was more of a it was needed to be done type thing, because it's done me since 2010. Everybody wants to know, ooh, Undertaker, Lesnar, when are they actually going to fight? And why not do it where the biggest streak is on the line?
Yeah. And we all know who they actually wanted to get for 30, but they couldn't get him just yet. A certain icon, if you will.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, if you guys are living under a rock, it's Sting.
Living under a rock,
yet.
Weed or something. Yeah, it is Sting.
Now, my question to you guys is, what else do you think WWE will do to build the matchup between Lesnar and Undertaker, or do you guys think it doesn't need any more build-up? That their names alone is enough build-up and enough hype for the match?
Stipulation.
You think we need a stipulation?
The way they're pushing it, like, oh, I see Paul Heyman coming up with something.
You know what they need to do is push the more of a reason for them to fight each other, not just a streak, not to prove that Brock Lesnar is bigger and better and younger, but if they would have shown that little clip and say, look, these two have a history, and get the fans more involved into that storyline, because to the average fan, let's say who never paid attention to what happened in the past in the MMA world, they're going to just see, okay, it's just Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman challenging the Undertaker to a match. It would have been great for them to promote it more and say, look, these two have a history. They technically, James, remind me, have Taker? Obviously, I don't think they have. Taker and Lesnar haven't met at WrestleMania, but
no, they have met on previous things besides WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Okay, so
one of the bloodiest Hell in a Cell matches I've ever seen.
So those things they could have pushed into a nice video package and say these two are destined to fight one another, and I think that's what they should be doing. Don't worry about stipulations. The stipulations enough with the streak. But one thing I gotta say, unlike any other WrestleMania opponent that Undertaker has faced, he never faced someone that is more cagey and more active or hyperactive than Paul Heyman at ringside.
I got a question. Has there ever been a casket match at Mania?
I think a couple of years ago against Mark Henry.
22 against Mark Henry. Was it a coffin or casket? But it's one of those two, man. Yeah.
Oh, it was a casket match. Yeah. For the first time ever, they did that at WrestleMania. So it's going to be very interesting to see how WWE plays up the angle further with Undertaker and Brock Lesnar. On to this next match. Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns been given the opportunity, according to Corporate Kane, to mend the cracks of the Shield and he feels that the first cracks in the Shield were their loss of the tag team titles to Cody Rhodes and Goldust. I gotta say, it was a good match. Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins looked spot on. I love the jump stomp by Seth Rollins. The way that he can pull that off is just, really a testament to his talent. And Roman Reigns, like I've said before, when I first started talking about the Shield over a year ago here on WGS-TV, I never gave Roman Reigns any credit because, back then, to me, he didn't look good. He didn't have that good of mic skills, but he has just progressed so far in over a year's time. It is just unbelievable to how he's progressed to where he's at, being one of the, quote, most popular members of the Shield. So, very interesting to see where they go next from here. But up next, on to the Divas correspondent, the king of the Divas himself, James. As we talked about AJ Lee and Tamina taking on the Bella Twins with Natalya on commentary. Before we go to you, James, I just want to say this. They started advertising Season 2 of Total Divas. I'm going to make this statement right here, right now. I have never watched one episode of Season 1, and I will not and I will never watch any episode of Season 2 or any season of Total Divas if it gets to that point, because I don't see the point of watching a crap, quote, reality show.
It's mindless entertainment.
Yeah, what later.
But I enjoy it.
The only thing it has to offer, and I'm going to steal a quote from Jerry the King Lawler, puppies! Puppies! That's all it has. I've never seen, just like you, Billy, never seen one Total Divas show. I've seen the little commercials that they have, and it's, to me, it's like, oh, geez, let's continue flushing kayfabe and everything down the toilet. Let's just flush everything that wrestling used to be. Okay, we now know everybody, it's staged and predetermined. But do you have to keep making it so obvious?
Yeah, I think that's WWE's goal, I think, just to dumb down the product so much that fans won't even know left from right anymore, in my opinion. James, what are your thoughts about what happened in this tag match? The finish of the match coming with Nikki countering the Black Widow of AJ Lee into what I call the Bella Breaker and getting the victory. Things kind of looking downhill for AJ Lee.
It's not the Bella Breaker. Nikki's move is called the Rack Attack, basically.
The Rack Attack.
She sure does have one.
But anyway, going to this is that, we obviously know that WWE always going to make AJ Lee look weak in non-title matches. In title matches, she has that good ability to, to keep the title by some weird reason. But the thing is that whoever comes out of tonight's main event match as the Divas champion, whether it be AJ still the champ or Natalya being the new champion, Nikki Bella will be the next in line for that #1 contendership, because that's where it's going to mostly go down to. I think either AJ's going to win or AJ's going to win. No, going to retain the title by DQ. And that's going to set up a match at WrestleMania where Nikki Bella is going to fight for that title because she says she pinned the champion, basically.
Now, I got a question for the panel here. Do you think they're letting AJ lose multiple matches because of the CM Punk chants?
No, I think what it is more for Total Divas to make the Total Divas look strong, basically. I don't think it's her punishment for being. I don't even think it's more of a punishment for even what she did at Tribute to the Troops for the Michelle Beadle incident. I think it's more on they need to have the Total Divas look strong against the champion and have AJ Lee lose to all these matches to Total Divas.
Yeah, I kind of share in James's sentiments about that. But one thing I don't share in everyone's sentiments is Daniel Bryan and the Yes Movement occupation of Monday Night Raw. Who in the bloody hell thought that this would be a smart move to do on a Monday Night Raw? Now, I'm going to say this, though. I'm a Daniel Bryan fan. I like the way the guy works. He's got great in-ring ability, and he's got great skills on the microphone. I am not a member of the Yes Movement, nor will I be a fan of the Yes Movement, because they looked utterly, utterly ridiculous on Monday Night Raw. I mean, honestly, Mr. Knight, you would never do this in Classic Wrestling Association, would you?
Well, you know what? I'm going to surprise you, Billy. I would. Reason being, it's one, they're involving the fans. There you go.
Billy, unmute your microphone. And also, I can't take over a live video call because it's
Well, we're still here. We're still here. I do apologize for that little momentary burp, guys and gals. I do not understand why that happened, but then again, it's Google Hangouts, it's YouTube. Go figure. Mr. Knight, I hate to ask you once again, but can you please restate your comments about Daniel Bryan and the Yes Movement occupation?
Sure, not a problem. Like I was saying, it's a great marketing tool. They involved the fans. They proved that they were fan-friendly. How many people walked away with free Daniel Bryan shirts? It was a way of promoting Daniel Bryan, and showing, as funny as it sounds, showing that the fans are involved and they can make decisions for the company. It was so well done that, I think promotion should learn from that you can do stuff like that you can take a chance and do what Daniel Bryan did to increase your viewership, increase fan participation in a controlled manner. So I think it was well done. I applaud WWE for doing that. Triple H probably said, you know what, let's try this and see if it works. And it did, because you saw everybody that Monday night doing and I'm not talking about the guys and girls at ringside. You saw everybody in the arena doing yes, yes, yes. And that was, again, what they accomplished from that was worth that moment of bringing everybody into the ring. That yes movement turned out to be the biggest thing. Guys, I don't know, you tell me what you think, but that has to be the biggest thing that WWE has done within a whole year besides the CM Punk chance.
I can go even further back into Stone Cold Steve Austin's "What Chance" when he was doing that gimmick. James, let me ask you this question: with WWE putting this stipulation, or quote Daniel Bryan doing it during the Yes Moving Occupation, that if he beats Triple H at WrestleMania, that he gets added to the main event for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Do you see this as WWE's trump card to prevent fans from booing the hell out of the main event?
Yes, that's basically what it is. As I know, you and me are going to be at WrestleMania, and I think we just got to see that there's going to be a lot of people booing the hell out of that main event. Should they have kept the main event as is? But I think WWE's like, we have to do this. Basically, the fans just played WWE's hand, basically, with it.
Well, the fans were played. Let's just say that they believe that they actually took part in this, and that's one of the things that conveyed to everybody. It showed that the fans had a say, even though they really don't, but they do.
Exactly.
I have one critique of what Daniel Bryan said. Just one. Daniel, know what building you're in, please, because he's been in the Coliseum. While there was a lot of great wrestling in the old Mid-South Coliseum, they were in the FedEx Forum last night.
Yeah.
Is that worse than Darren Young not knowing where he is?
No, it can't be as bad. Everybody was still chanting yes anyways.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, also the reports is that most of the people in the ringside were actually backstage workers. There were actually some actual fans there in that ring.
Especially the guy that was looking at Daniel Bryan like this.
Well, after they got all that mess cleared, we had a vote on the WWE app for the match stipulation between Christian and Sheamus, and it turned to a Memphis Street Fight. Again, it was what the WWE did is what's been called in the industry as, playing the fans. I mean, giving them an obvious great choice with two other bad choices, kind of leading the fans to vote for the street fight. Now, if the WWE vote was legit, I'm not going to, or not, I really don't know, but they ended up going with the Memphis Street Fight. And Lance, I know that you had some sentiments and some, not kind things to say about the Memphis Street Fight.
Okay. Anybody else knows a hell of a lot like the Nashville Street Fight we had a few weeks back? Which, don't get me started on that show, please. But honestly, that did not. I've seen many a classic Memphis Street Fight, like with Bill Superstar Dundee and Jerry Lawler and a bunch of others. And I noticed they were playing on them using one of the guitars, except for they unscrewed the neck, which I do work on guitars as like a little hobby. So I noticed I got this one right here that I've been kind of working on as a project. This doesn't have the strings on it, but I saw when it hit the floor, the neck just came off.
Oh.
So they took the screws out of the back of the neck.
Ew.
Yeah.
I never really noticed that.
If you want to see me do work on these, check out Lance Moss TV at youtube.com.
Go check him out.
It was a unique finish to the match, though. Christian's holding up a bass drum from a drum set, and Sheamus bro-kicking Christian right through that drum kick and getting the victory. But needless to say, this feud between these two guys are far from over, and they might extend this as far as WrestleMania. Mr. Knight, do you see that happening?
Oh, I hope not. And this is my opinion. Christian's already at the end of his rope. I think they're kind of just throwing just a bone to him to give him this feud. I think they're really wasting Sheamus's time. I think Sheamus should be doing something bigger and better than just playing around with Christian. bottom line is they should be doing something better with him. I think this was just like the cement. Hey, okay, he beat him up already a couple of times. I think Sheamus needs to move forward and get away from this.
I will say this, though. You hit Sheamus with a kendo stick, you know where it happened. I mean, I saw pictures just recently on Facebook about no more than an hour ago of him backstage after that match was over with red welt marks all over his body from where he got hit. I mean, it just makes you look at it, makes you go, ow.
Mhm.
That must sting because, me, I'm a wrestling commentator, and I know better than that. I'm never going to get in the ring. I'm never going to take a shot from anybody. So that even includes
But you will give a chair shot.
Oh, jeez. Anyway, let's go on before they even attempt to bring up the video here during the.
Somebody get it quick.
Oh, jeez.
Where is it? Where?
Let's go to the production truck here.
Well, while they do that, let's talk about the main event, the tag team match between Big Show and Daniel Bryan. Well, you know what? Before I do that, Bray Wyatt did give his answer to John Cena for his challenge, and he has accepted his challenge. I'm going to say this, though. Luke Harper with that whistling is flat out creepy. I mean, it's like Duck Dynasty gone wrong, wouldn't you guys say?
You know what? They did a classic heel promo, a real scary type of promo. And this was something that Undertaker was famous for with Paul Bearer back in the early days. So them bringing this type of nostalgia back and doing these type of promos, I think elevated the Wyatts to be even more creepy than what they are. So great work on them.
Well, it's good to see them giving Erick Rowan a chance to even say something, even though it's just one word. It's just run.
He should have said bah.
I'm a bad boy. Why did I just say that? Anyway, now let's go to the main event of Monday Night Raw this week, which was a tag match with Big Show teaming up with Daniel Bryan to take on, well, currently WrestleMania main event opponents, now tag team partners here, Randy Orton and Batista. Why did Jerry the King Lawler even acknowledge the Batista stuff? Because I already made my opinions very clear about how I feel about fans just hating on Batista just because he's back. Apparently my opinion about Batista being here is greatly different from the vast majority of people out there, the quote wrestling fans of this generation, who think they know more about wrestling. So I'm going to keep my opinions to myself about that because, like I said, I already voiced my opinion about it. I did that 2 weeks ago. I got it out of my system. I don't even have the inclination to repeat myself when it comes to the fans and that word Batista, because I think the fans were dead wrong to do what they did. So, but anyway, it was a unique tag match. We even saw a little bit of a I think Studley Man, Ashley, and Andy would call it a cock-up with Batista spearing his own partner by mistake, and Daniel Bryan gets the running knee on Randy Orton and gets the victory for his tag team. I gotta say, it was a good way to end Monday Night Raw, wouldn't you think, Lance?
Yeah. I mean, I know we don't have that many more weeks, but yeah, that's a decent Raw, yeah.
Well, it's now time to go into our overall scores and our picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw. And like always, I also throw that out to you guys out there watching us here on WGS-TV. What are your overall scores and what are your picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw this week? We always respond to comments here on WGS-TV, so be sure you put your comments in the comment section below. For me, this was a decent Monday Night Raw this week. I really can't say nothing bad about it. The Yes Movement occupation, like I said, I've said it before, I'm a Daniel Bryan fan. I am not a fan of the Yes Movement. You know, I like the way Daniel Bryan works. Good worker, great talent. I am not a member of his Yes movement. I am not going to go. You know, if I even see him down the street, you know, if I even see him when I go to New Orleans for Superdome, for WrestleMania, I'm not going to go batshit crazy like some of these other fans will do. But I will, however, shake his hand, tell him, you know what, you are a great talent, sir, and you are a great asset to the WWE, and I am glad that you're in the spot that you're in. I am not going to go up to Daniel Bryan like one of these crazy fans going, yes, 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 yes. You know, or, you know.
You're not going to do like that. Years ago, there was this kid this guy that cried during
Yeah, I know.
It's still real to me, damn it.
That's it, Lance.
Yeah, a very viral video, in my opinion, and the viral is the virus of the guy talking. But you know, I can understand the guy's passion about it. You know, he's very passionate about the wrestling industry, as we all are. You know, we're passionate enough to talk about it and express our opinions about it, like we're doing right here on the Monday Night Raw review. But like I said, I'm a fan of Daniel Bryan, but I am not a member of the Yes movement. I gotta say, overall, it was a great show. The main event was okay. However, the main event will not fall into my best match of the night. My best match of the night, I gotta go with Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns taking on Cody Rhodes and Goldust. A marvelous tag team match. And really, one of the main highlights in the WWE at this point in time, some people would say, is the Shield. And the Shield, you know, fans want to know, when are they finally going to break up, or will they ever break up? I think that's one of the things that fans like to see, and plus the fact, you know, two of the big stars in the Shield, Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. You know, fans always like to come, they're flocking to Roman Reigns in a sense. You know, if anyone's also starting a big fan base in wrestling, it's definitely Roman Reigns, and especially the way that he has progressed in the WWE ever since he arrived. Best segment of the night, gotta go Undertaker and Paul Heyman. Just because of how epic it is. You know, Paul Heyman, Undertaker. Enough said right there. Worst match of the night, I really don't have anything to be honest with you. I really don't have a worst segment either, because, well, you know what? I'm going to go to the Yes Movement Occupation. Just because of the fact that, like I said, it looked ridiculous. A lot of the people in there looked like they were just, you know, I don't want to be extremely rude about some of the people that were there in the Yes Movement Occupation, but like I said, my opinions about the Yes Movement greatly differ from some of the majority of fans here in wrestling today. So, but as far as I'm concerned, hey, my review, my opinion, worst segment, the Yes Movement Occupation, because it makes it so blatantly obvious what's going to happen at WrestleMania. You know, this is WWE's way of getting out of the fact that the fans were going to boo the hell out of the main event. It's that blatantly obvious. And if you guys don't even know what I'm talking about, what they're going to do with Daniel Bryan and Triple H, wake up! That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to let you guys out there figure it out on your own. All right? I'm not going to hand you the answer this time. You guys figure out what I'm talking about and why I feel the Yes Movement Occupation was the worst segment of Monday Night Raw. Overall, my official score, 3.5 out of 5. I want to go to Lance first and get his overall scores and his picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw. Lance?
Well, I agree with you that the tag team match between the Rhodes Brothers and the Shield, best match. Best segment, it's between three things, and it's between the start of the show, the Undertaker segment, and the Yes Movement. Worst, I gotta give it to Worst match, I got to give it to that sad excuse for a Memphis Street Fight. Worst segment, don't got one.
All right, well, let's go to James next and get his overall score and his picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw.
3.5 out of 5. Best of the night, I'm going to have to give a tie between the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal announcement because, it's in honor of Andre the Giant. And I'm going to disagree with you, Billy. The best one also is the Yes Movement. Because really it's that even though you hate it, everybody else enjoys it because the fact is that WWE used this tactic, not seen anywhere else before, to get the fans involved in their thing. Worse, I'm going to have to give it to the Street Fight too.
It wouldn't be the first time that a wrestling company has involved the usage of fans.
Well, I kind of have to remind myself because ECW has done that a few times because they had fans run into the ring.
Not only that, but think back to when Jim Cornette was kind of the general manager of TNA, and he put Jeff Jarrett into a fans lumberjack strap match with the fans surrounding the ring, and they gave fans a chance to post up videos.
But then, did he fight Joe in that match? Yeah,
I think it was.
No, he did not fight me.
Not Joseph Knight, but some more Joe. Sorry.
Well, speaking of Joe, let's go to Mr. Joseph Knight and get his overall score and his picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw.
Well, I got to give it a total of a 4. Now, the best match, and I'm agreeing with everybody, the Rhodes versus the Shields. I said this many times. Cody Rhodes has improved incredibly since he's been with Dustin. That's overall the best. The best segment, definitely, I gotta give it to the Undertaker, Paul Heyman. I mean, you can probably see in Undertaker's face, he probably just wants to strangle Paul Heyman as badly as possible. Who
wouldn't?
Especially for Paul Heyman doing that little Paul Bearer gimmick a while back. Worst match, you know what? I have to say is 2. I'm trying to pick one out. Definitely the Street Fight was the most. It would make Tommy Dreamer and Sandman look and say, "What the hell is that?" Or the Biggie Webster versus Jack Swagger match. But all right, so I'm gonna have to give it to the Street Fight. Worst segment. I really did not. I can't say that there was one. Everything was well done, from the Andre the Giant, announcement, from the Yes Movement. I really don't have a worse moment.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Knight. Well, we want to know now from you guys out there, the viewers and subscribers, your thoughts on Monday Night Raw this week. What are your overall scores? What are your picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw? What are your thoughts about the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal? Your thoughts on the Yes Movement occupation? We want to hear from you guys out there. So be sure you put your comments in the comments section below. Don't forget to like and favorite this video. Lance, what can fans expect to see when they come visit your channel over on youtube.com/LanceMossTV?
Album reviews, NASCAR discussion videos, Redneck Gourmet cooking videos, some guitar work I'm going to try to get into, and whatever else pops into my head.
James is over in the Houdat Temple. James, where can fans check you out?
iVlog.tv/user/fatboy504. We talk about game shows, play game shows, games, talk about sports, wrestling, like this moment right here.
Oh, God.
What kind of chair shot was that, Billy?
At least it's better than the Street Fight we watched Monday.
Hey, that's a compliment, Billy. Better than the Street Fight.
I think so. Well, anyway, Mr. Joseph Knight is with the Classic Wrestling Association. Mr. Knight, where can fans check out more information about the CWA?
There's a long little thing about that, and I'm going to have to bring it up here. There is currently, right now, there is no more CWA. Long story short, but I've gone back to my managerial position. So you can find me on Facebook at Joseph Knight Manager. You can find me on Twitter at Jey Knight Manager. There's going to be a lot of surprises and a lot of things going on, so stay tuned and keep in contact with me.
Fans, don't forget to like the Facebook page, which is facebook.com/WGS-TV, and don't forget to please subscribe to youtube.com/WrestleGamer and youtube.com/ZFXTV Network if you haven't already. So for the incomparable Lance Moss, James and the Big Easy, and our guest, Mr. Joseph Knight, I'm the WrestleGamer, Double B from Boudreaux, saying, I wish I hadn't done that chair shot.
Oh, shucky ducky, quack quack.
Hey, he said it. He said it. Not me. That's him. That's all him. That's all him.